Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. In this verse, it is clearly indicated that Krishna consciousness is the only means of being delivered from the clutches of this contaminated material world. Sometimes unscrupulous commentators distort the meaning of what is clearly stated here.
Thank you for bearing with me. Generally, people don't realize that they actually have a purpose here. And when it comes to your role, when it comes to the human form of life, and the purpose. Purpose is to complete the process of self-realization. Most people think that the purpose is just simply have sense gratification, try to please one's senses, or if it's more pleasing to one's senses, then he tries to impress by pleasing other people more, and he gets more appreciation for his work. That basically is all self-centered. Even in the material world, being self-centered is not very popular. If someone only likes to talk about himself, he only likes to look at himself, he only likes to do what he wants to do, or helps anybody else, he's not very highly appreciated. Even materialistic people don't like another self-centered person. But unfortunately, the leaders of society all over the world have been affected by this age of Kali. The age of Kali is the age of renown, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. And it's continuing to get more and more so as time goes on. So it's a difficult time to be here. It's not easy to be self-realized in a situation where it's the same. It's folly to be wise where ignorance is bliss, something like that. Ignorance is considered bliss now. So to spread, to sell them, if they're going in the wrong direction, will not be very well received. But nevertheless, it has to be done. And it's the duty of the Vaishnavas to do it. That's their part dukkha dukhi. They want to help others. They don't like seeing others suffer. The material world is full of suffering. Kala and Shastra. Krishna says, this material world, from the highest planet and the material world down to the lowest, are all places of misery, wherein birth and death take place. The one who attains to his abode never takes birth again. That's the real goal, is to go back to Godhead, to go out of this material world, not artificially by some self-induced method, but live out one's life trying to engage in pleasing the Lord and fulfill his duties. We have duties, we all know. Even all the animals, insects, when they're born, they know they have duties. The first duty they think of is that they want to survive on their own. They want to keep alive so they have a mother. Mother is the primary caregiver for the children. Her body's even designed for it. It even has milk produced. And that milk is especially, at least for the humans and the mammals, very nicely designed to suit the child's needs. And that didn't happen accidentally. People say, this is just nature, that is how it goes. We don't say it's nature, that's how it goes when we see a Rolex watch. Because a Rolex watch doesn't just become a precise timepiece by its own endeavor. Somebody has to do it. Ultimately, nature actually refers to Krishna's energies. Krishna's energies we call nature. We call it instinct. We have different laws. We say laws. Planetary systems are moving according to the laws of nature. So who's that nature? Who's that person? The lawgiver. The lawgiver is Krishna. But they don't know that. How much unfortunate are they that they don't know who the person is behind it all? And even more sad is they don't really care that much. So if we find ourselves sometimes thinking like that, then we can get very enthusiastic about not doing that, changing our path. So it's not difficult to change. If you're going the wrong direction, and the sign tells you, now you're going south, just turn around. If it's the wrong direction, you turn around and go north. Similarly, as we're forgetting Krishna, Krishna is saying here, Manmana, think of me always. Manmana, become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. If you do this, I promise you'll come back to me. Spiritual growth. And that's actually the goal of life. Because life is eternal. We're all eternal. We don't die. The body doesn't die either, actually, because it was never born. But it appears that the body is born. When someone comes out of the womb, or the egg, or the embryo, whatever system is used, then supposed to, and they have everyone has duties. So for the little trees, they have their duties, and for the insects, they have their duties, and the children, and the parents also have responsibility. So in this life, our real responsibility is to find out who we are, why we're suffering here, why did we come here, who's in charge of all this, and how to get free from this cycle of birth and death and suffering. Not difficult. Bhagavad Gita explains it very easily, precisely. So if one is serious for understanding, even though he may not be so academically advanced, if he just hears from someone who knows the science of Bhagavad Gita and who's practicing it, then he'll be able to understand very easily, and he'll go the right direction. And he'll have guidelines all the time. He'll always have guidelines. Just like if we're going to see some friend, what should I talk to my friend about? Talk to your friend about Krishna. That's the best thing to talk to your friend about. They say, but what if we have other important things? Yes. Everything else is also important. But being Krishna conscious is the most important thing. Because that's actually the real position of the living entity, is to be fully conscious of Krishna.
Sometimes unscrupulous commentators distort the meaning of what is clearly stated here, that all devotional service should be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Unfortunately, unscrupulous commentators divert the mind of the reader to that which is not at all feasible. Such commentators do not know that there is no difference between Krishna's mind and Krishna. Krishna is not an ordinary human being. He is absolute truth. His body, his mind, and he himself are one and absolute.
This is a unique aspect of Krishna consciousness that explains very thoroughly about whether God is what he is. Is he a person? Is he male? Is he female? Is he big? Is he small? Find that he's person who is transcendental. His form is not made of matter, like our forms are made of matter. We have some air in our body, we have some earth, we have water, we have some fire. See, I have no fire in my body. Temperature is 98.6 in the Fahrenheit scale. How's that? If there's no fire, how can we have the temperature of 98.6? We need to cold outside. So we have water, earth, air, fire. And then we have mind, intelligence, and false ego. All these 8 are considered inferior energies. And they're given to us according to our karma, according to the bodies we receive for our past deeds. But Krishna's body is not made like that. Krishna's body is made of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. They said, I've never met anyone that his body was made of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. That's the unique thing. You have to find that person. There is such a person, and that person is God or Krishna. And everyone should be very happy to hear about that. Because this is a sign of intelligence. If you want to hear, if you want to discuss somebody's characteristics, why not discuss the Supreme Person? It's like the residents of Krishna's abode, such as Danavir, Mathura, Dwarka. They like to talk about Krishna in his personal aspect. Some of them also like to talk about him in his impersonal aspect. That's also helpful. So that one can, if in the beginning, he's unable to recognize Krishna as being a person because he hasn't been trained. But even if he understands how Krishna or God is working through his energies, that's a great accomplishment. That's a type of perfection. And then from there, you should go further and see how Krishna, God, is also in the heart. Everything is, he's there as super soul to give guidance, to help fulfill the desires of moving into, and to guide him back to the spiritual world. Krishna is all beautiful, has all beautiful qualities. How do we know that? Because we read from the Vedas that when Krishna entered Mathura, all the people were just amazed at the beauty of Krishna. Women, men, animals, everyone. He's so attractive. Krishna means all attractive. But it's naturally a very good thing to be connected with an all-attractive person. He's also the most wealthy person because he owns everything. He's not even in the competition. Because no other living entity owns anything. This was found out by Ali Maharaj. Ali Maharaj thought that he could conquer the world, and he had defeated the demigods and was doing that. But Lord Krishna came as a small
dwarf? Dwarf?
Yes, dwarf. He was a dwarf brahmana. And he managed to take away all the possessions that Bali Maharaj had, which included everything in the universe. But he, instead of becoming disappointed, he showed what a great devotee he was, and he became very happy and enlivened and pleased to be defeated by his beloved Lord in a different form. God has many forms. There's unlimited forms. They're all beautiful and all full of knowledge. Krishna knows everything, past, present, and future. He knows everything because he's the controller. He's the supreme controller. He knows everything. Everything that's in our minds, in his mind, in everyone's mind, he knows. A little sample of his great wisdom and knowledge is given in the Bhagavad Gita. He speaks 700, or approximately 700 verses describing his discussion. And it's one of the most famous discussions in the world, history of the world. But it would behoove us to become well-versed in Bhagavad Gita so we can give this education to others. That will be a great service.
It is stated in the Kurma Purana, as it is quoted by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami in his Anubhasya comments on Chaitanya Charitamrita, 5th chapter, Adi Lila, verses 41 to 48, Deha Dehi Vivedoyam Neshvare Vidyate Kvachit. This means that there is no difference in Krishna, the Supreme Lord, between himself and his body. But because the commentators do not know this science of Krishna, they hide Krishna and divide his personality from his mind or from his body. Although this is sheer ignorance of the science of Krishna, some men make profit out of misleading people. There are some who are demonic. They also think of Krishna but enviously, just like King Kamsa, Krishna's uncle. He was also thinking of Krishna always, but he thought of Krishna as his enemy. He was always in anxiety, wondering when Krishna would come to kill him.
Anxiety is the quality of the material world. Everyone's in anxiety. Because we know that we're subject, we're quite vulnerable. We can easily be smashed in any number of ways. Through so many, it can be even a friendly foe or enemy foe, or accident, whatever. But we know we're vulnerable. Therefore we're in anxiety. Child is in anxiety, old man's in anxiety, the dogs are in anxiety, everyone's in anxiety. What kind of world is this? Why would God create only a place where there's full of anxiety? Doesn't make much sense. If he has all the capabilities of doing whatever he likes, why would he make a place that should be full of miseries? He says in Bhagavad Gita that the material world is full of miseries. But then he also says, this is not your real home. Come back and live with me in the spiritual world, where there's no birth, there's no death, no old age, no disease. That's our real home. That's where we belong. So we should plan on that. Everyone should think, what will my next life be? Krishna describes that. He says that at the time of giving up his body, everyone thinks of whatever is on his mind, whatever he's desiring, that's where he'll continue. He'll get a body like that. And continue with trying to fulfill his desires. So if we learn how to change our consciousness so that we're always thinking of Krishna, then when the point of death comes, there'll be no surprise. His body's prepared. He's been practicing thinking of Krishna by chanting at his beats, at kirtan, hearing about Krishna, doing service. He's absorbed in Krishna. So he'll go back to Krishna. And that going back doesn't take very long, very short, just a short few seconds. Then we're back. in the spiritual world. So it's not.
He was always in anxiety, wondering when Krishna would come to kill him. That kind of thinking will not help us. One should be thinking of Krishna in devotional love, that is bhakti. One should cultivate the knowledge of Krishna continuously. What is that favorable cultivation? It is to learn from a bona fide teacher. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we have several times explained that his body is not material, but is eternal, blissful knowledge. This kind of talk about Krishna will help one become a devotee. Understanding Krishna otherwise from the wrong source will prove fruitless. One should therefore engage his mind in the eternal form, the primal form of Krishna. With conviction in his heart that Krishna is the Supreme, he should engage himself in worship. There are hundreds of thousands of temples in India for the worship of Krishna, and devotional service is practiced there. When such practice is made, one has to offer obeisances to Krishna. One should lower his head before the deity and engage his mind, his body, his activities, everything. That will make one fully absorbed in Krishna without deviation. This will help one transfer to the Krishna Loka. One should not be deviated by unscrupulous commentators. One must engage in the 9 different processes of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting about Krishna. There's 2 more paragraphs. Pure devotional service is the highest achievement of human society. The 7th and 8th chapters of Bhagavad Gita have explained pure devotional service to the Lord that is free from speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, and fruitive activities. Those who are not purely sanctified may be attracted by different features of the Lord, like the impersonal Brahmajyoti and localized Paramatma. But a pure devotee directly takes to the service of the Supreme Lord. There is a beautiful poem about Krishna in which it is clearly stated that any person who is engaged in the worship of demigods is most unintelligent and cannot achieve at any time the supreme award of Krishna. The devotee in the beginning may sometimes fall from the standard, but still he should be considered superior to all other philosophers and yogis. One who always engages in Krishna consciousness should be understood to be a perfectly saintly person. His accidental, non-devotional activities will diminish, and he will soon be situated, without any doubt, in complete perfection. The pure devotee has no actual chance to fall down, because the Supreme Godhead personally takes care of his pure devotees. Therefore, the intelligent person should take directly to the process of Krishna consciousness and happily live in this material world. He will eventually receive the supreme award of Krishna. This end of Bhaktivedanta purports to the 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of the most confidential knowledge.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
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 Thank you very much.